Hello, everybody. Welcome back to part two of How to Find Your Comic Book Style with me, Will Robson. You can check out my work at Facebook. You can check out my work at facebook.com/Robson Inc. So, when we last left off, I went into my absolute love for Greg Capullo, and I really do love his artwork. I don't take much from his figures, but I generally the most I take from him is his panel design, his faces, and his storytelling. So let's get into some other really cool people here. Who's the next person I should show? Oh, I know. So Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, and I don't know. I assume Capullo, but mostly Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee were very inspired by a guy called John Byrne. Now, when I used to play in a band, I've been playing guitar for 13 years. And what I would do is I would listen to things like Led Zeppelin and I go, oh, I wonder who their influences are. Muddy Waters, who's that? Oh my god, I love Muddy Waters. Well, who's his influences? Robert Johnson, oh my god, I love that. So I decided to incorporate that into my art. I was like, I love Jim Lee and Tom McFarlane. Who do they love? And you find an interview and like, John Byrne, okay, who's that? And you go, oh wow, I love John Byrne. Who did he love? Oh, Neal Adams. Oh my god, this is amazing. Who did Neal... Again, if you can find what inspired the people that inspire you, you're going to find more inspirations. Anyway, so I love his work. I mean, X-Men work is amazing. Iron Fist. I really love this book. I've never read. Again, most of these books I've never even read, but you don't need to with this type of art style. There is. Oh my god! Instantly, we're already seeing classic John Byrne here. He did the Days of Future Past X-Men, which is a film that's going to be coming out soon. Anyway, so I love his just breakdown of anatomy. This is something I still study to this day. I just love the way he draws anatomy. I can see Jim Lee's a little bit of Jim Lee in there, and I'm talking as in they took inspiration from him. Lots of Tom McFarlane in the way he draws. It's like the combination of both. I can just see a lot of it, and he's a great storyteller, and he's originally a Brit as well, so that always helps. This is very old school paneling, so I don't like his paneling, but his figure drawing is fantastic. I like a lot of the way he draws faces and expressions, but the main thing I get out of it is his figure drawing. So I'm just getting over a cold. Very professional of me to blow my nose in the middle of a video. I know. Excuse me. So, yeah, his figure drawing and the way he does his anatomy. Look at this. This is great at this flipping here. And a lot of people I find that don't draw comics or are not into comic book art go like, yeah, Jim Lee's the best artist because he draws cool stuff. That's all well and great, and I used to be that type of person where someone would show me Jack Kirby and I go, this is crap. Have you seen what Tom McFarlane could draw? But once you figure out that comic book art is not about the art itself, it's about the storytelling behind it, you grow a huge appreciation for people like Jack Kirby, which we'll get into later. Anyway, so I still look at a ton of... oh my god, I love this image of this bent foot sticking out here. I love it, and I like the way he draws hands. And again, comic book anatomy, it's not very correct. Muscles aren't bubbly like that, and those forearm muscles don't make any sense. Neither does some of the leg muscles and stuff like that. It doesn't have to. As long as it looks consistent and everything seems to be in the right place, you'll be fine. Like Tom McFarlane has no idea how to draw a forearm, but damn does he draw a good ass forearm. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear there. Anyway, I don't care. It's my show. So again, I study this stuff constantly. I mean, oh my god, look at this. Kicking this guy all the way down the stairs in one page. I mean, that's epic. I can't imagine what the script was like for that. Crazy. But yeah, I love his anatomy. It might not be the best to show the Iron Fist stuff. To me, it's what appeals to me. This is a great example. This is when he moved over to DC Comics and started drawing Superman. This is a lot more plainer. If you look at the pencils of this work, there's a lot more detail in it. So whoever was inking it left out a lot of stuff. Again, if you want to learn how to draw fists, look at Superman's Man of Steel. John Byrne's Man of Steel. Because there's so many fists in this work. The panel, this is not exciting stuff, I know. But there's a lot of textures. He's very good at textures. And actually, let me get the best example of that will be in X-Men. Or his pin-ups as well. Actually, I have some of his pin-ups. Let's go to that. Pictures, comics. You'll get to see how I sort of work here. Artists. And where is he? John Byrne. Well, maybe I don't have many pin-ups of his. It doesn't matter. He's just so good. There's just lots of textures and stuff in there that I really like. So let's take a look in here. This is his classic X-Men stuff. The way I learned how to draw bushes was by drawing John Byrne. Textures. Yeah, you look at any of this stuff. I love the way he draws Jean Grey's hair. And Todd McFarlane surely must have looked at this stuff and incorporated it into how he draws Mary Jane in the Spider-Man run. So again, look at your influences and look at who influenced them, and you'll be amazed at. I mean, if you really truly love comic art, look at the classic stuff because there's so much to learn, and also it's a lot clearer than art you see today. So it's a lot easier to learn how to draw certain things. So I think that pretty much wraps up John Byrne. I wish I had some more of his pin-ups because a lot of his pin-up stuff is great. And if you look at any books on the Avengers run of comics, you can easily pick up how to draw anything. This stuff looks a bit muddy, but I look at a lot of Avengers on how to draw figures because you have so many different types of figures in the Avengers. And you can build characters out of sort of the poses that they're in. So that helps a lot. So that's John Byrne. Who should we look at now? So that was a huge influence of mine, and that going into that, I've known about Neal Adams forever. I mean, there's no way you can't know about Neal Adams' run on Batman. It's just classic, and he was really the first guy to bring this sort of a sense of realism to drawing comics. And if you look at a lot of this stuff, you can see how John Byrne took it and incorporated it into his own stuff. Now, I love Neal Adams, but he does draw his anatomy of the legs a bit differently, where he sort of has a much thinner line on the leg, and I'm not a fan of that. But there's a lot of stuff I am a fan of, and he's a great renderer. And you look at some of the way he renders stuff, and you know that Jim Lee picked up stuff from it, and why wouldn't you? It's great rendering. So that's why I look at his stuff. He's not a major influence of mine, but there's certainly a lot of stuff that I've taken from his that I absolutely love. Let's see. So, yeah, I've learned how to draw my figures, like the basic of drawing figures. I mean, my anatomy I take from John Byrne. My faces I take from Greg Capullo. My rendering I take from Todd McFarlane and a guy named Jonathan Rector. But the way I draw my figures is all from this guy, John Buscema. This guy is the master at drawing the comic figure. Whoa, that's weird. But anyway, I love these old books because you just see these really simple, broken down, feathered, rendered forms, and I always just skip through. I practically have his whole run on Avengers. Look at this. Look how dynamic that shot is of this guy just holding a gun and walking and stuff. If you just study this stuff, the really old stuff, where it's very clear and you could see it, and you just do 30-second doodles of just breaking them down in the simplest forms, sort of like what I'm doing with my comic pin-up series, you can learn so much about balance and figures and how to make the most interesting stuff in the world. Now, what I really love about his work, besides all of his run and all of this stuff, is his Conan. Savage Sword of Conan. This book, if you want to learn how to ink and build up different textures, this is the book to look at, because this has no colour in it whatsoever, just a lot of different textures and details. So, this is where I picked up a lot of how to sort of texture backgrounds and texture certain things. I mean, this is over-the-top texturing, but it does have merit so that you can bring it into a lot of your work, like the way that sort of building is done there. What else we got? Like, look at, I love the rendering on that there. I don't think this is John Byrne, though. John Buscema. Let's see. I'm getting sidetracked just looking at it now. Oh god, I love all this stuff. All these little tick lines everywhere to create shading. You know, you don't have the choice of grey in your work, so you've got to make grey by making tick lines. Again, this is over the top rendering, but man oh man, you could still incorporate a little bit of it into your work, and it will go a long way. Like floorboards and stuff, like just putting lines across things, lines for the shadows there. Those really lovely brush strokes on his shoulders and stuff. It's epic stuff. I mean, it's just, I love it. This is what, and again, this is your inspiration. This is what inspires you, and just his figures are just powerful. And a lot of his, like the way I draw arms, is all from John Buscema. I don't like the way he draws legs, but I like the way he draws arms. And again, it's the combination of all these little things that build up and make your art style. So where shall I go now? Oh yeah, this to me, I love John Romita Jr.'s work. He is probably one of my favorite artists. I'm only sort of stumbling over my words because I love Greg Capullo, Todd McFarlane. Those are my top boys. But so is John Romita Jr. And I can't just say I like this one better than the other. They all have merit and they sort of blend into each other. Is this really all I have of his? I mean, his dead. I don't have much on my computer because I've bought a million John Romita Jr. books. This is his old stuff, but this is how I learned how to draw clothing. I love the way he, all the lines pointing to where the action of that arm is going and stuff like that, and the way I draw hair as well. It's all inspired by John Romita Jr. I just love all these sort of fabric lines everywhere, and not too much shading going on, but really good stuff. And again, this all breaks down to that cartoony aspect. Now, besides Greg Capullo, I actually do a lot of John Romita Jr. face studies. I do really like the way he draws noses and mouths, especially lips and hair. So the way I draw heads is really a combination of Greg Capullo and John Romita Jr., along with other things I've picked up over time. For instance, that's exactly how I would draw squinty eyes like that. Like with the two big bubbly squint parts above them. And this is his really old stuff where it's more, I would say, illustrator based than comic book based, which is, I love it to bits. And then what's this? Oh yeah, I got this because this is how I first saw John Romita Jr. when I was a kid. I used to pick up this book, and this is really basic stuff, but I just like it. To me, it's really pink, and the way he draws hands, especially. I'm always trying to emulate the way he draws hands, but again, this is like Jack Kirby 2.0 to me. As much as you try and replicate his style or put it into your own work, no one's ever going to perfectly be able to do it because it's so unique and fantastic. So that is another amazingly huge influence of mine. Who else we got? I got a couple of rounds here, like Joe Mad. My buddy John Rector absolutely adores this guy. And if you look at Joe Mad's work, you can instantly see how John Rector incorporates some of this stuff into his work. And it's all just these little things, like I could see it in the way, especially the way he draws hands, a lot of the sort of faces and stuff like that. Really great stuff. It doesn't super appeal to me though. It's not what I would consider to be like, oh yeah, I absolutely love this. This is how I want to draw. I just think this looks cool, so I don't take too much from it. Maybe the way he draws hands a little bit, but not much. And then George Tusker. I don't need to show George Tusker. He's another great artist. Frank Miller. I love Frank Miller. Dark Knight Rises. God. Dark Knight Returns. Sin City. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. I don't take too much from it. I've looked through a lot of Sin City just to spot blacks, and by that I mean of how he's sort of seeing where shadow and stuff could go, but I haven't incorporated too much of it into my style. You can tell that I'm a kid of the 90s of what I like. And then I thought I had it all organised here. I think where is it? It's here. Yeah, Danger Girl. If you want to learn how to draw sexy comic book women, look at Jeff Scott Campbell instantly. And what I like about the way he draws is that, to me, it looks very close to Greg Capullo. And I just like the way he draws women, so I've completely incorporated that into my work. Hair, a lot of his rendering, and just he's another guy that's just great at making emotions on people's faces. Everybody looks different. Even like all these women he draws, he can do something slightly different to each of them to make them unique. And he worked besides Jim Lee, so a lot of his inking, I don't know if this was inked by Scott Williams, but a lot of it is reminiscent of Jim Lee. But there's just so much difference going on with emotion. And that's what I like. Is our job is to draw pictures without words that get added later. So if you can't tell the emotions you're getting across or what the figure's doing with your storytelling, then you bug it. And again, I just like the cartoony aspect of stuff. I don't think I have the other thing I was looking for. Do I not have? So I'm getting sidetracked. Okay, so here comes a big one. I don't think you did up to this issue, but let's jump in here. Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby is probably one of the artists that inspires every single comic book artist, because every single comic book artist is eventually going to discover Jack Kirby and incorporate something of his into his work. I know for me, the way he does closing, some of his rendering with these feather marks is certainly a way I incorporate. The way he draws hands. But what Jack Kirby was amazing at is overall just power. And this is what I come back to all the time. I don't have any Tim Sale on my computer. I mean, I love Tim Sale and Bruce Timm and people like that. I do incorporate a lot of stuff in their work. But Tim Sale especially took a lot from... Well, not took, but was influenced by Jack Kirby a lot. And so was John Romita Jr. And you may not be able to see it in this stuff. And I'll try and point out some of the stuff I really love. But there's so much power in all of his work. It's just beautiful to look at. Let me try and get... What I love, actually, is... Oh, did I just close it there? I love his Captain America. It's probably one of my favourite Captain America artists. Series... Captain America... I don't know. Now I have to go sort of digging. I think he did earlier stuff. One moment, folks. Okay, here we go. Look at this. This to me is Kirby. I chose Fantastic Four because obviously he had such a great run, but there's so much power on this. Now the first thing anyone does when they look at an image, they look at the face. That is a terrible drawn face. I don't like the way Jack Kirby draws faces. I think he's really bad at drawing faces. A lot of the stuff he draws, they're very cross-eyed. But man oh man, everything else about Jack Kirby's work has so much impact. Again, it's just in-your-face stuff. I mean, look at this with all the... I mean, the thing you need to know about Jack Kirby as well is that he invented a lot of the stuff that you see. You might see like someone shooting a gun here. You think, oh yeah, I know someone that draws that better. Well, he's one of the first people to do that. The smoke. There's something called Kirby Crackle, which he invented. He's just, he's a huge, huge inspiration to probably all of your favorite artists as well. So this stuff, when I do ink tests, I like the way he spots blacks, because obviously this is really old school stuff, but there's a lot of good stuff. I can't even speak because I just look at his work and it's so good. It's so good. It's hard to describe. I think you either like Jack Kirby or you don't like Jack Kirby. So let's break it down. Should I go into some of my stuff now? Show how I incorporated it. Oh, actually, here's some old stuff of mine, which was going to be show you a really good example of how crap I used to be. This will be good, actually. Okay, you ready for this? Woo. Okay, this is my art in 2011. This was when I was trying to draw as much Todd McFarlane... Oh, this is so embarrassing looking at this. As much Todd McFarlane as possible. All these faces super Todd McFarlane inspired. This is all Tim Sale inspired. You know, this is just not knowing how to draw and taking inspirations from people. That is pretty much the way I used to draw. Now, the way I now draw is... Let's go into commissions. No, not that. Sorry, again, I keep sniffling because I'm getting over a cold. Now, this is more the way I draw now. This rendering here, I'm doing and line weights and stuff. Well, the rendering is inspired by John Rector. He sort of broke it down easily for me and how to well, not easily, but he explained it to me in a way where I finally understood how to render. And I'm sort of growing out of doing these tick marks everywhere. That's very, what's his name? David Finch inspired. David Finch does that a lot, which I love, but I'm trying to break into the more Todd McFarlane, where it's the combination of the two. And what's the name of the example? Oh, that's poo. I don't like that. I think if you're watching my channel, you know what my art looks like anyway. My artwork's changed a lot, and that has to do with just keeping at it and drawing as much as possible, looking at as much art as possible every single day and what inspires you. Now, I don't have other things on my computer. Other artists that really inspire me are Frank Frazetta. If you want to learn how to draw composition, go look at Frank Frazetta's stuff. Absolutely incredible. I probably have Frank Frazetta on my computer somewhere. If I just type Frank Frazetta. Yeah, I knew it. Yeah. Oh my god, look at how, again, it's impact. That's what I love. It's just pure in-your-face stuff. Amazing anatomy, amazing composition, really great stuff. Norman Rockwell as well. I don't know if I have any Norman Rockwell on my computer. Rockwell. Yeah, I do, actually. just one image. Again, absolute expressions, pulling the figure in as many poses as possible. I do a lot of study of Norman Rockwell because it's just so expressive and really good. And a bunch of other artists. I think I have Tim Sale a bit on here. Tim Sale. Again, I'm going to sneeze again. I was so professional. I really apologise for that. That's disgusting. I love Tim Sale's work. Big, bulky figures. And not a fan of his shading, but just so impactful. And he's a great storyteller as well. I mean, look, boom, impact right there. Yeah, and I like the way he does it. And then the last thing I'll show... This video's turning into, like, I like this and I like that. Let's see. Oh, I actually have his Mad Love here. This is bringing it back to Archie Comics, Bruce Timm, blended with Jack Kirby and assortment of other things. You know, this is all Batman the Animated Series. I take a lot of sort of the way he draws Batman and stuff. I mean, it's just incredible stuff. Anyway, so now I'm just sort of turning into a fanboy of all the stuff I love. What the point of what I'm trying to tell you with this, besides me sneezing in your face from my cold, is take all of the artists that you love and pinpoint the things you don't like about them. You can find the things that, you know, you might be the biggest Jim Lee fan in the world, but you have to ask yourself, what is, you know, you got to find it. What is the thing I don't like about their artwork? And when you find that, start going to your other favorite artists. See how the way they do the thing that you don't like that your other favorite artist did. Ugh, confusing sentence. But essentially, you'll build up your own style. And this comes a lot from, you know, photo reference of drawing people. I know the way I draw ears. I specifically remember I watched a film with Colin Farrell in it, and he was just standing there, and I saw his ear, and I was like, I like his ear. I started drawing my ears the same way Colin Farrell's ears are. So it can go. Your styles can come from anywhere. I'm just talking about comic book styles because I want to draw comics, and I like the cartoony aspect of drawing. So whatever you like, just look at it, find what you don't like about it, and find influences elsewhere. And eventually, if you keep drawing that stuff, I mean, I fill up a sketch pad every single month. You keep drawing, there's no way you're not going to get better. You just need to understand form better. Form is the most important thing about drawing comics. Break down everything into the most simplest form, and you'll get good. Okay, I feel like I've rambled on a lot, and it's just been a video of me sneezing and stuff. I hope this video helped. Please leave a comment if I left anything out or something that you want me to talk about more in future videos. But thanks very much for watching. You can check out my work at facebook.com/RobsonInc. I'm out, folks. See ya.